And I now recognize a member from Oakville.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and fellow members of the Assembly and guests. I would like to start off by congratulating the new Speaker for his recent election to this very important position. I know that he will, with his long-term service and parliamentary knowledge, he will do a very great job in this, serve this Assembly well. I am pleased to offer my congratulations to all new and returning members of the 42nd Parliament. I know every one of us is here to represent our respective constituencies. I would also like to thank and acknowledge the former member from Oakville, Mr. Kevin Flynn, for his 15 years' service in the Legislature, most recently as Minister of Labour. Of course, I would not be here without the support of my family and volunteers, so I would like to sincerely thank all of them for their hard work over the last year. Finally, I would like to thank all the people of Oakville for their support. I'm here to serve them. Today, I have the privilege of making my inaugural speech to this Assembly. I am humbled by the ways in which our work will influence the lives of our communities and the people of Ontario. Recently, I was told the significance of the carved statues of an owl and an eagle above our heads in this chamber, the eagle being on this side and the owl on this side. The eagle is a reminder to the members who sit on the opposition benches of their duty to be vigilant in monitoring the government. The owl is a reminder to members on the government benches to be wise, listen carefully, and always act in the best interest of the people. I find this a very helpful reminder of our roles in this chamber. Today, I would like to share a little bit about the town of Oakville, for which I represent, who I am, what motivated me for public service, and the future I envision for Ontario. Oakville is a beautiful lakeside community that was originally inhabited by the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nations people. The Legislative Assembly of Upper Canada purchased land in 1805, and the town of Oakville was founded in 1827 by William Chisholm, who coincidentally served in the Legislative Assembly of Upper Canada. Oakville became known for shipbuilding and basket weaving. Today, Oakville has grown to be a community of approximately 200,000 people, with diversified industries and companies, including Ford Canada's head office and assembly line for the Ford Edge and Lincoln MKX, Siemens Canada head office, a major manufacturing facility for UTC Aerospace, which manufactures landing gear for many Boeing and Airbus aircraft, and the Weather Network. We are also home to Sheridan College, which has graduated many extraordinary alumni from diverse areas such as computer animation, business, high technology, and the arts. In fact, the Broadway musical Come From Away was incubated in Sheridan's Oakville campus. Oakville will once again host the beautiful Canadian Open at our beautiful Glen Abbey Golf Course later this month. Glen Abbey has hosted more Canadian Opens than any other golf course. Oakville is also home to many organizations to improve the greater community. The town is home to the Kerr Street Ministries, which focuses on providing essential programs for people in need. The Lion Club Foundation Dog Guide School, which is the largest of its kind in Canada, and Art House, which supports access to the arts for children and youth in need. Here are some interesting facts about Oakville. Oakville has over 1,300 acres of parkland and 140 kilometres of trails. The TV show Suits has been filmed in Oakville. Oakville has been chosen to remain a town, even though the population of 200,000 would normally be classified as a city. Oakville attracts over 1.4 million tourists annually, and the Oakville Soccer Club and Oakville Crusaders Rugby Club are the largest soccer and rugby clubs in North America. I invite each and every member of this chamber to visit our beautiful lakeside town. I would be honored to show you around our town. In terms of my personal background, I was born and raised in neighbouring Mississauga. I'm married to my wife Nadia and the proud father of 4 daughters, 2 sets of identical twin girls, Monica, Michelle, Farah, and Sophia. I attended the University of Western Ontario and studied political science. I was involved in youth politics many years ago before focusing my efforts in the private sector. I spent 20 years in the private sector, most of that time as a business builder and a partner in 2 independent Canadian asset management firms. Many people have asked me what motivated me to run for public service. My answer to that is easy. I love this great country and great province that we live in, and I know we are not realizing our potential here in Ontario. Ontario used to be the economic engine of Canada. Today, we are the caboose. Ontario now has higher unemployment than Quebec for the first time in my lifetime, and we have a lower than average per capita income in Canada. We have more debt than any sub-national government in the world, and our credit rating has been downgraded yet again. Ontario has among the highest hydro costs in North America, and as a result, people are choosing between heating and eating, and businesses are moving elsewhere. Ontario has over 380,000 regulations, more than any jurisdiction in Canada, and as a result, entrepreneurs don't want to open businesses here anymore. And of course, Ontario has some of the longest wait times for hospitals patients in Canada, and we have long waiting lists for older folks trying to enter long-term care facilities. We can do better here in Ontario. There are many people that have inspired me over the years. I've been inspired by my family members, such as my parents Bill and Diane, who taught me good values and work ethic, my in-laws, Dr. Ahmed and Zaida Mahmoud, who immigrated to Canada, settling in a small mining town in northern Quebec. My father-in-law worked hard from landed immigrant to be one of the premier scientists at the Canadian Space Agency. I've been inspired by many public figures, such as Winston Churchill, who met adversity with steadfast leadership. I've also been inspired by a lesser-known public figure, whose name is Ocelia McCarty. Ocelia was a wonderful woman born in 1908 and raised in poverty in rural Mississippi. She had very little formal education, worked cleaning and laundering clothes for residents in her small town. Ocelia rarely left town, had no children, and led a very simple life. In her late 80s, she realized that she was approaching the end of her life and decided to leave her savings to help fund poor students attend university. She'd accumulated over $250,000 over the years. When the media found out about Ocelia's generosity, the story made major headlines around the world. She carried the torch at the Atlanta Olympics, and she was given the Presidential Medal by Bill Clinton. Her story touched so many people. She motivated hundreds of people to give hundreds of thousands of dollars to charity. Ted Turner announced he was donating $1 billion to children's charity as a result of Ocelia's inspiration. The point of this story is that everybody in this chamber, everyone in this great province of Ontario, can be a leader and impact the lives of others in a positive way. Great leaders make the right decisions not based on short-term popularity or polls in politics or the latest quarterly earnings reports in business, but based on what is right for the people and their societies and organizations over the long term. Mr. Speaker, the throne speech delivered here last week in this House has laid the groundwork to start the process of ensuring Ontario returns to be the economic engine of Canada once again. I'm excited to be part of a government led by Premier Ford, which will focus on making life more affordable for families here in Ontario by scrapping the cap-and-trade tax, lowering hydro bills, and providing tax relief to parents, small businesses, and the working poor. Reducing the regulatory burden and making life easier for entrepreneurs to ensure the world knows Ontario is open for business. Restoring accountability in our public institutions. I'm excited the government has called for a commission of inquiry into the financial practices of government. Building 15,000 more long-term care beds over the next 5 years and an historic $3.8 billion investment in mental health. Respecting the parents of children with autism by increasing support. Partnering with Toronto and other GTA municipalities to build a world-class transit system. Forging a new relationship with our frontline healthcare providers in this province, and respecting our men and women in uniform who put their lives on the line to ensure we live in a free and safe society. Jean-Jacques Rousseau summed it up when he said, "As soon as public service ceases to be the chief business of the citizens, and they would rather serve their money than their peers, the state is not far from its fall." I am proud to be part of a government led by Premier Ford that is for the people. In closing, I would like to thank my fellow members of the Assembly for their time and the people of Oakville for the trust they have placed in me. I look forward to working with everybody in this Assembly and getting to know each of you better in the months and years ahead. Thank you.